Get nice up close and personal.
Yeah, man.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah, dude.
What's
Joe
up, man?
Corcione, welcome to Tiny Bench Big Questions.
This is a very comfortable tiny bench.
It is not bad, right?
It is good.
It's better than it looks, that's for sure. But so I started this series trying to chat with, honestly, a little selfishly, with people that have accomplished cool things in life and business and athletics. I just wanted to pick their brains.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to jump right in with the big question. Everyday Ultra, what is Everyday Ultra? What does that mean? And who are you on the podcast side of the world?
100%. Yeah. So I think Everyday Ultra encapsulates not only my journey, but I think every ultra runner's journey, right? And I always say when you're training for an ultra, you're almost training for life, right? And it's a very cliche thing, but it's so true. We go through life and we see the joys, we see the failures, we see the highs, we see the lows, we see the painful opportunities, but we always have this drive to keep going forward. And even though there's no finish line in life, I truly think that a lot of the things that we learn in our ultra running can help us be better people in the end of the day. So the ethos for Everyday Ultra is helping athletes be better endurance athletes every day, but most importantly, I truly believe if you be a better athlete, you can be a better person. And so where that kind of came with the show was when I first started getting into my ultra running journey, similar how you started this whole series, I truly believe if you want to be successful in anything in life, the best thing to do is model those who are successful.
Absolutely.
So when I started Everyday Ultra, for me, I just wanted to interview some of the world's best ultra runners to figure out how I can be a better endurance athlete. And I thought other people might feel the same way. And there was no grand plan, no grand scheme. It was just I was curious, and maybe other people were curious too. And in a span of 2 years, it grew to one of the top ranked ultra running podcasts. And the whole ethos of the show is helping people be better endurance athletes. And along the journey, through the tips that I've learned, and even through my own experience, got to go from no running background to, placing top 10 male at Javelina 100, which is just super cool.
Yes.
And, get to see the progression and train for Cocodona 250. And so, and now that I've kind of gained this experience, I've been trying to give back to the community and share what I've learned along my story. So no matter what the background of the person is, whether they're not a runner, not athletic, whatever their, background is, I want to say that everybody can be an ultra runner. And whether that's, starting for your first, 50K or going for your 10th 100 miler, I truly believe that everybody wants to learn, and that's what I want to be here to serve.
Man, I love that. That's so cool. You used the word curiosity, and you're curious, and I love that word, and I would love for you to take that word, and how has that helped you progress as you've done Javelina a couple times, you're doing Cocodona, maybe a longer race next year, you quit your job and started coaching. How has curiosity kind of been a central focus and a driver for what you've accomplished and what you're working towards?
Yeah, thank you. That's a great question. I truly believe that a lack of curiosity is a lack of progression in life.
Yeah.
And I say that because for me, growing up, I was not a very curious person. I was very much a fixed mindset person because when I was growing up, I got addicted onto drugs. I was never athletic. I wasn't good at a lot of things, and that was a very limited factor in my mind because it was more so, this is what I can do.
Sure.
And it was only until I really came to switching that to a question of what can I do, where I really started to see the progression in my life. Because a lot of the times it can be so easy to say, I'm not athletic, I don't have the resources, I don't have the ability to be successful in my life because this is the way that I am. But when you open that up to a question to say what if, or what can I do? What are the things can I learn? That's when you really start to progress, because when you shift your identity to who you are as the not athletic person to the learner, that's where you can do everything. And so that has kind of translate into everything in my life, because really my whole running journey and really this whole coaching business and everything started with, what if I can run a 5K?
Right.
What if I can run a 5K? And that's what got me into this journey. And then I did the 5K, and here's the cool unlock of it. It only takes one question to change your life, because once you have that question and you answer that question, what if I can do the 5K, and you do it, then you ask, what if I can do the 10K?
What's next?
Can I do the 100 miler? Can I do the 200 miler? And I truly believe that if you never want to stop growing, you always got to be curious. And here's the catch too, because a lot of people can be so, and I get this because I can relate to it, crippled by failure, because we always see it as a win or a loss. When you identify as a learner and you're curious, you see it as a win or a lesson. And no matter what the outcome is, you're always winning. And that will allow you to go for the biggest goals, to pursue your biggest life dream, whatever that might be.
I love that so much. And I feel that because I've every time I've signed up for a race, it's like, well, can I do 100 miles faster? Can I run a little bit further? And I'm always driven by whenever the day comes and I can't run again. You know, hopefully it's many, many years. But if it's tomorrow, I don't want to look back and think, man, what if? Like, what if I would have pushed a little harder? What if I would have run a little faster? So in that vein, there are moments in all of these races that you have to ask yourself, what if a lot? Like, what if I drop out right now? What if I would have had an extra cookie at the last? Whatever that question is. But when you reach that moment in a race that you're like, man, there's literally a million places I'd rather be than right here, right now. What is it internally that keeps you going, that pushes you to find that finish line on days that you don't, even if it's a workout? What is that mindset that you go through?
100%. And I always call this like consulting your future self. Because a lot of the times in the moments when I'm in these races, right, why do we want to stop? Why do we want to drop out? Why do we want to spend more time at that aid station? It's because we want to avoid that pain in the moment right now. And let me tell you, there's been times at Javelina, like at mile 60, where all I could want to do, like the only thing I really want to do is go back to that start line, clock in, go back home, get in the air conditioning, like pop my feet up and eat like, you know, a big bowl of ice cream and call it a day. That's what I want in the moment. But future Joe, I know future Joe would be very disappointed in that. So in those moments, I literally talk with my future self. I imagine me being like, hey, future Joe, would you be happy with this decision right now if I didn't push, if I didn't take the fuel right now, if I didn't do those things? And I know 10 times out of 10, future Joe would not be happy with that moment. So I always say, don't consult your current self, consult your future self.
I love that.
And when you talk to your future self, they will give you the best advice to help your current self get out of the situation, because no matter what, your current self's gonna wanna get out of that moment. And so I think that's the big thing too. But in the end of the day, it's also reframing like what that discomfort means in the moment. Because the biggest thing in life, biggest driver in humans, is to avoid pain and gain pleasure. And we want to avoid pain because we think it's painful. But again, it's associating, because we usually associate that pain with danger in our minds. I like to associate that pain with growth. And I don't mean, you know, if you're having like a broken bone or something, obviously that's like associating pain with like stop out
There's difference between pain and hurt.
Exactly, 100%.
Like, if you're in pain, one thing. If you're legitimately hurt, totally different thing.
100%. So using that vocabulary with the pain, it's like there is always beauty in the pain. And when you can lean into this and say, this is a lesson for me, this is an opportunity for me to grow, and you reframe those things, that's great. Because in the end of the day, like the only things in life, they have power over us with the meaning that we associate with it. Like I always think about it like this. If you saw an animal that you never saw in the wild before, like, and it looked like a certain way, right? It looked cute and cuddly, right? You're gonna go and say like, wow, like that thing's amazing. Look at it, it's so cute and cuddly. But let's just say someone else knew and they knew that that thing was a killer animal that if you get close to it is going to kill it. That person's gonna be like, oh my gosh, that thing's scary. Same exact animal, different meaning behind it. So we can translate that to anything we face in ultra running, in life, the pain in our legs, anything like that. And once we switch the meaning, we switch our lives, we switch our decisions, and ultimately we switch the outcomes, which can be a beautiful life if you choose it to be.
So I mean, we talked a lot about Javelina multiple times. You're working on Cocodona. You started a business. You seem like a guy that kind of has an idea of where you're going in life, even if it's not always the direct path. What does your bucket list look like? What are a couple of things? Let's take Cocodona out of it. Obviously, that's the big thing right now. But maybe the 5-year plan for Joe. Like what are the big things, both maybe in the podcast world, business, or just in the sport?
Yeah, thank you for asking this. I think like the big thing is I mean I would love to get a golden ticket to Western States. And a lot of times people think like, oh, it's because I want to go to Western States. And that like, yes, I would love to wear Western States. Like that'd be great. But honestly, I want to finish this narrative and this story all around like, you know, me going from no running background. Like I was picked last in every single pickup game in high school. And I always thought like how inspiring and cool would that be? Like if I could like build this character, and when I say character, I really mean like the character of myself, like to go out and win a golden ticket. Because, and it's not about winning the ticket, it's about having people see it and be like, oh my gosh, like if he can go from that to that, what can I do in
That
my
dude did
life,
it.
right? And so that's kind of like the big story. And it's always trying to find that next level, not from a place of like, I'm never satisfied, but finding the next level so I can always inspire people to find the next level in their life, no matter what it is. And that level doesn't have to be a 100-mile race. It doesn't have to be getting a golden ticket. It could be the 5K. It could be the 10K.
Yep.
It could be buying a house. Like whatever that like level is, like I just want to keep inspiring people that your current situation doesn't define who you are. The only thing that defines who you are is what is your vision, what are you willing to do to get there, and are you willing to learn? And if you do those three things, you can accomplish anything in your life.
Dude, I love that. That's a soundbite all in itself right there. Final question. At some point in your life, somebody has given you a piece of advice that has either totally changed your world or put you on a path that you still think back to. What is that advice?
Yeah, if you want to change your life, you change your beliefs.
Yep.
That's the biggest thing. A lot of things people think that they need to change the actions that they're doing, which I too believe that you need to change the actions. But how many times has anyone watching this right now said that tomorrow I'm going to do the thing, and hey, you might wake up and tomorrow you might do it, day 2 you might do it, day 3 you might do it, but you kind of slide back to the place, and that's the beliefs in our mind, right? It's like an air conditioner. Once we kick past a certain temperature, we're going to cool ourselves down and we go back to our old ways. So we need to change the thermostat in our mind, which is our beliefs about ourselves. And I truly believe the one belief that matters is you can become anyone who you want to become as long as you're willing to do the work and you're willing to learn. If you have that belief, you can accomplish anything in your life. And that has been the pivotal moment of my lifestyle.
Mic drop.
Oh, dude,
Joe,
you're the best, man.
Appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate you,
Thank you
dude.
so much for making the time.
Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate you, Don. Dude,
That's
you're a
it.
legend. You're a freaking legend.
Nice job.